3D printing of organs. Did you know that one deceased organ donor can save up to 8 lives through the donation of organs, and can enhance more than 100 lives through the donation of tissue? Every 10 minutes, another name is added to the organ transplant list, and on average, 22 people die every day waiting for an organ transplant. Currently, there are over 120,000 people on the waiting list for an organ transplant. Organ recipients are based on location, medical need, and compatibility. These are just a few statistics from the American Transplant Foundation. I chose this topic because I feel it is important to understand that there is a lack of available organs. I also think it's important for people to understand that with new and emerging technology, we could possibly close the gap in those numbers. The 3D printing of organs could be the solution to close the gap, but first we must understand why there is a need for organs, how 3D printing works, and the 3D printing of organs, tissues, and muscles. With that, I want to go into some major points about the need for organs and tissues and how to rectify the situation. Why are organ donors scarce? There are a couple myths that go along with organ donation that cause some people not to want to be organ donors. And they are that if doctors know that you're an organ donor, they won't work as hard to save your life. After donating an organ, tissue, closed casket is the only option, and that your family would be charged for organ donation. When in reality, organ donation is only discussed after a person is deceased, and the doctors who deal with you on a daily basis are not the same ones who do the organ donations. Most organ donors still have open caskets, and families are never charged for surgeries related to organ donation. Organs that can be donated after death are the heart, liver, kidney, lungs, pancreas, and small intestines. Tissues include the corneas, tendons, veins, bones, skin, and heart valves. There's also such thing as a living donor. Living donors are healthy individuals who donate kidneys, blood, bone marrow, parts of the liver, lung, and intestines. And 1 out of 4 living donators are not family members. How do we then close the gap between the need and the availability of organs and tissues? Technology is a wonderful thing. Every day, new and more amazing things are done with technology. The birth of 3D printing can be traced back to 1984 when Charles Hull invented the stereolithography. The stereolithography is a printing process that enables a tangible 3D object to be created from digital data. How exactly does 3D printing work, you may ask? First, a digital data file is accessed in the printer, and it works just like an inkjet printer. Instead of ink, a 3D printer deposits the desired material into successive layers to create a 3D physical object from the digital file. With 3D printing, would it be possible to use the technology to print organs and tissues for humans? Putting 3D technology to use to print viable, workable organs for humans could be a solution in closing the gap between the number of people who need organ transplants and the number of available donors. Normally, when you 3D print something, it uses plastic, metal, or other substances. In 3D printing of organs, scientists use hydrogels, which is a water-based solution that contains human cells. And how exactly does this process work? Scientists start by running a 3-dimensional scan on whatever body part that they're going to print. They then combine the hydrogels with other biodegradable materials to give the organ structure and strength. When the other materials are dissolved and finish incubating in the machine, it can then be implanted. This is a jawbone and an ear that were 3D printed and implanted into a mouse. Researchers have printed an earpiece shape of cartilage, a muscle, and a jawbone, and have since implanted them in mice. In conclusion, there are far more people in the world that are on the waiting list for organ transplants than we have available donors. 3D printing is a wonderful technology that uses plastic, metal, and other substances to create an object. As of right now, researchers have only implanted 3D organs in mice, but have had immense success with printing tissues that accommodates blood vessels. This allows the tissues to receive oxygen and nutrients to the cells that they need to survive. Wouldn't it be nice to one day live in a world where there is no waiting list for an organ transplant and our loved ones wouldn't have to wait to get a life-saving surgery they need?